Hey guys, Jeff here with the Common Sense Camp. We're going to talk to you today about something I just received. I'm very stoked about, and it's so simple. It really is stupid, uh, but when I open it, I'm like, it just makes me happy. So if you've watched my channel over the years, you'll know that this is my go-to bush pot. This is actually a modified sugar bowl that I have had forever. I have made a lot of meals out of this, and every time I put this in my pack, it makes me smile. And it's just one of the simple things. I know for you guys out there that do a lot of camping and bushcrafting and hiking, there's just certain things in your pack that just make you smile when you put them in there, and this has always been one of them. Now, I will say that there's a couple things about this thing that I just never cared for, and I wish it had, and why I decided to switch to the new bush pot that I received. The first thing is that it doesn't have a pour spout. It does have a rolled edge, so it does pour the water out without running down the side, but it's a pretty wide stream, and a lot of times I'd miss the cup and get it all over the place. The other thing is it doesn't have handles, and it's kind of on the heavy side. So I put this on my scale earlier, and it was coming in at about 11.5 ounces, which is pretty heavy for a bush pot. But if you're on a budget, and it's about 11.5, call it 12 ounces. But if you're on a budget, this is something you can do very simple. It's very easy to do. You just drill 2 holes in the side of any pot like this, put a coat hanger on it. A lot of people say don't use coat hangers because they melt. I have had this in blazing hot fires. I have never had that bail melt, and I've never replaced that coat hanger. So very easy to do, very inexpensive, and it's a fun project. If you have a Boy Scout in your family, or a kid that likes to go out camping, you want to make a little project like this, it's very simple to do. The other thing that's really cool about this is with a fixed handle on it, I could take my fish mouth spreader like this. I know you guys have seen these before, and I would just simply put it into the handle like that, and now I have a skillet for 1 or 2 eggs. A lot of times I'd put Spam in there and cook that. You could also have your main dish in this, set this on top, and kind of steam your vegetables if you have a little bit of vegetables or onions or something you want to put in that skillet. It was a great multi-use thing, but like I said, didn't have a pour spout, didn't have a handle, and a little bit on the heavy side. So I'm a big fan of Morris Kohansky. God bless his soul, he passed away last year. And one of the things he talked about all the time was this 1.8 liter bush pot that he had kind of commissioned or met with the 4 Dog Night Stove Company in the United States, and said, hey, I want you guys to make this pot, and they did. Now, this is not the 1.8 liter. I emailed 4 Dog Stove Company and asked them, hey, I noticed on your website you don't have the 1.8 liter, and they said they're not making it. Now, he didn't elaborate on it, if they were never going to make it again, or if they just weren't making them right now. And I'm kind of glad they didn't have it, because I think this is a more appropriate size for at least what I do. This is a 1.1 liter aluminum anodized. The bottom's anodized, the top and the handles are regular aluminum, anodized aluminum. And when I opened this, I smiled, because it makes me feel the same way as that pot did, and even more so because it has the pour spout. It's not real pronounced, just enough to get the water out. It has the handles. The weight comes in at about 8 ounces. So for its size, it's pretty light. To give you kind of comparison, I've got my 650 ml Tokes cup with the lid. That comes in at about 2.9 ounces. So yeah, a little heavier than this, but I'll tell you what, if for some reason I forgot my water filter, or someone else forgot their water filter, or it's backed up, or the bag failed, or what have you, it's gonna be a lot easier to scoop up a liter of water out of the creek and boil it than it is with that. And then I can take this, because it has a pour spout, poured into my smart water bottle, and I've got a liter of water. Now 1.1 liters takes you all the way to the top of this. I'm probably only going to go with a liter, but it'll do it nonetheless. It's just going to take it all the way to the top. So these are $30 without the bale. Now for $4 additional, they will ship the bale to you. You can install it yourself. And for $38, that they will put the bale and install it, and you get the whole pot. Now I went with $38 version and just had it shipped like this and had the bale installed. Now, is that a lot of money for an aluminum pot? Probably. However, it's USA made. It's tried and true. It's been proven. There's guys that have had these things for years and just beat the crap out of them. And, you know, they look like this. So I don't have a problem with it. It's got this old school, nostalgic, kind of clanky, just, it's not streamlined and sleek, but it's really well made. There are no sharp corners on it. The turn downs on the bale handles are sanded smooth, they're rounded. There's just something about this thing that just really makes me happy. Now, I watched a lot of reviews on this, and a lot of people said that theirs came loose. The lid was loose. So and people have asked me, hey, do you prefer a lid on a bush pot to be tight or loose? And my answer is always going to be both. Now you're probably asking yourself, well, how the heck can you have a loose and tight lid all at the same time? I'm going to show you what I did. So when I put this on the fire, I determined that I'm going to want the spout. If my fire is right here, I'm going to want the spout towards the fire. So what I did is I put my lid on here, and I decided that this has two positions, one flat for packing it away and one slightly elevated, so that I can, you know, open the lid off the fire with a stick or my spork or a pair of multi-tools. So that's in the loose position. It also has this adjustable bale as well. So that's great. Perfect. Now, the only thing that I don't like about that is when I go to put all my stuff in it, and I don't want to put it in a stuffed sack or a dry bag or a bandana. I want the lid to be tight. So what I did was I simply took this corner right here, this little part about the width of the spout, and I took a pair of pliers, or you could do this with a multi-tool, and I just bent this rim out. So when I go to put this away, if I want the lid to lock, I just make sure I don't line that up with the spout, any position other than lining it up with the spout, that little 2 inches there. And now the lid's locked. So now I don't have to worry about my gear and stuff falling out of this, because I have a lid that locks. And when I go to cook with it, I have a lid that I can easily open, and it's loose. So would I buy this again? Absolutely. It's actually going to be included in my lightweight pack, as well as my bush pack, my bushcrafting pack as well. And like I said, it's just one of those things you just open it and you're like, man, that just makes me happy. And so if you're wondering, how did I do that? There we go. So anyways, the fish mouth spreader will work with that loose lid. You just got to put it to the opposite side, and now you have your little skillet for a single egg. You can steam your vegetables while you're cooking your pasta, or a piece of Spam or some bacon. So I love it, absolutely love it. This is Jeff with the Common Sense Camper, camping out.